What's going on, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming back at you with another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. Can you guys believe it? This is the last day of the season. I cannot believe the season went so quickly. Hope you guys doing well. National championship night. Boy, did the ladies put on a show over the weekend. I don't know how many of you got a chance to watch the women's Final Four in the national championship between South Carolina and Iowa, but man, I don't know that there's been a women's season that I paid attention to as much as I did this year. And man, was it something spectacular. I'm going to tell you. Congratulations to the South Carolina Gamecocks, Dawn Staley and her crew. Fantastic season, undefeated, and the Natty National Championship. Iowa Hawkeyes have nothing to hang their heads about. National runner-up yet once again. Caitlin Clark finishes a fantastic, historical, meteor-like career at Iowa. So big ups to the ladies. So we're going to get into it tonight, but let me get to some bills first. Check this out, guys. Go to bardostribe.com, BARDOS tribe.com. Get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. It's free, y'all. It's a free guide. We'll get you signed up to the newsletter, which is growing quickly. I believe we have over 900 now. Or you can join the tribe. You can join the inner circle. That is Bardo's Breakdown, the tribe. Text me 312-847-2739. And you can go to, once you go to bardostribe.com, there'll be a pop-up window. Simply put your email in. I will not spam you. I will not blow you up. But I give different insight than I give here on Bardo's Breakdown and different things like that. So I try to give my email people a little bit different love, a little bit more insight than I do on the show. So make sure you go get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology, and sign up for it today. All right. Only in college basketball could this happen, y'all. The day of the national championship, John Calipari leaves Kentucky and is taking the Arkansas job. I'm sure most of you have heard by now, but there were some whisperings, and I was listening to what's the guy? Oh, Paul Feinbaum, who was all SEC everything on the football and basketball side. He talked about he heard that John Calipari was this close, really close to being fired by Kentucky this year. I find that hard to believe, but they flamed out in the first round, second time in the last 3 seasons. That's unacceptable to Kentucky. I think Calipari felt the seat getting hot, and so he finalizes a 5-year deal to lead the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, a lot of people look at it and say this is a lateral move. Well, I don't think so, because he was paid handsomely at Kentucky, but he's going to be paid handsomely at Arkansas, and he's promised $5 million in NIL money. That's $5 million per year, ladies and gentlemen. So Musselman did a great job of attracting big-time talent to Fayetteville, Arkansas, but with $5 million in NIL money per year is what I'm hearing that Coach Cal is going to be. I mean, he already had the talent coming through Kentucky. It just seemed like he wasn't able to mesh the talent like he had been in years past. But this is going to be a heck of an opportunity for him at Arkansas, because they're going to give him everything that he needs and then some. And then it's going to set off a chain reaction. So who's going to get the Kentucky job? We're hearing Scott Drew at Baylor, Nate Oates at Alabama, Billy Donovan with the Chicago Bulls. And an outside name I've heard is Brad Underwood at Illinois. So it's going to be fascinating to watch this coaching carousel and the dominoes fall into place. And let's see who gets the Kentucky job, because it's going to be somebody high profile that will leave a very good job, which will in turn set off another chain. So going to be interesting. But John Calipari usurping the national championship game with his move, leaving Kentucky, going to Arkansas. All right, now let's get to the good stuff. National championship matchup, y'all. Cannot believe it. We're here. Number 1 overall seed UConn versus number 2 overall seed Purdue. Very unique matchup in that we got the 2 best teams in college basketball. I don't think there's any question about that. throughout the course of the regular season and in the NCAA tournament, Purdue and UConn have been the most consistent teams in the country in terms of wins and dominance, especially from the University of Connecticut side in terms of dominating. So just to give you a sense of what Purdue is up against tonight, UConn, 5 players averaging between 11 and 15 points. That's tremendous balance, ladies and gentlemen. 4 different players have led the Huskies in scoring throughout their 5 NCAA tournament games. You see right there, Donovan Clingan, first round against Stetson. Tristan Newton, the point guard, in the second round against Northwestern. Cam Spencer went off against San Diego State in the Sweet 16. Donovan Clingan against University of Illinois. And then Stephon Castle stepped up beautifully against Alabama. So this is a loaded ball club. And I mean, the backup point guard, Diarra, is an outstanding player. He was Big East 6th Player of the Year. And he had a really good game against Illinois. So it's going to be a fantastic matchup. UConn is one of the best teams in the last decade. I said that you heard me say that right, last decade. And let me give you some of the guys that you'll see tonight. You'll see Alex Caravan obviously is not the starter that he has not led in scoring, but he's the starting power forward at 6'8". I mean, he had a good game against Illinois. Illinois fans saw what he did. And then you've got where's the young man that comes off the bench that is he is a 6'11" a rim run. I believe it's Samson Johnson. This young man's a pogo stick, runs the floor. Where is Diarra? Oh, Hassan Diarra, 6'2", senior backup point guard, really, really good. Andre Johnson comes off the bench. So this is one of the best, not UConn teams, one of the best college basketball teams in the last decade. And so you're looking at a UConn team this is their 3rd straight top 4 offensive efficiency opponent. 3rd straight in the tournament. Illinois in the Elite 8, Alabama in the Final 4, and now Purdue. So Illinois was number 4, Purdue's number 3, and Alabama's number 2 offensive efficiency. And oh, by the way, UConn's number 1 offensive efficiency and number 1 defensive efficiency. So this is a juggernaut of a team. And here's what I want you Purdue fans and Big Ten fans to consider as this young man's career comes to an end tonight. Zach Edey, it won't get Glenn Rice's record, I don't think, unless he goes off for 44 points. He's certainly capable, but I don't think that he's going to catch Glenn Rice. But he's got 140 points over this tournament run, which is outstanding. I believe that puts him in the top 5. Look at this, though. Zach Edey is 3rd in Big Ten scoring history. 3rd. Behind Calbert Chaney and Sean Respert. So the young man he's been the most underrated Big Ten player I've ever seen. 2-time college national player of the year, and he still doesn't get the love that he deserves. Zach Edey is 2nd in Big Ten rebounding history behind Jerry Lucas. Guys, Jerry Lucas did that in the 50s. And Zach Edey's 100 rebounds away from him. So obviously he won't catch him. But I don't know that anybody will get close to Edey's numbers in terms of rebounding in Big Ten history. Just outstanding numbers for Zach Edey. Now, with all that being said, I'm just going to kick it real, guys. Here's my prediction. I got UConn by 10. And here's the slither of hope that I think Purdue has. 2 players outside of Zach Edey have to have career games. Plus Zach Edey having 25 points plus 15 plus rebounds per game in order for Purdue to pull off the upset. So Purdue's going to have to hit at least 15 to 16 threes to be competitive. You saw the game plan Alabama had against UConn. I believe they hit 9 threes in the first half, and I think they were down 4. That's how good this UConn team is. So Purdue's going to have to hit 15 or 16 threes, have 2 guys, preferably Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, have career games simultaneously, and Zach Edey have 25 25-15 plus in order for them to be around at the end of the game. That's how good UConn is. That's why that's a slither that I don't see happening. When you look at the backcourt, Braden Smith, 6'1", little light in the britches, going up against Tristan Newton, 6'6", about 210. Then you got Fletcher Lawyer, who's really light in the britches, and he's going up against Stephon Castle. Then Lance Jones is 6'1", stocky enough, but then he's got to match up with 6'4" Cam Spencer. So this is a big, relentless, physical, deep UConn team, guys. And I just don't – can Purdue win? Yes, they can pull off the upset. But there's a sliver of a path, in my opinion, that I can see Purdue pulling off the upset. And almost everything has to go right. And something very unusual has to happen to UConn, like maybe Klingon fouls out early. Heaven forbid someone goes out with an injury or someone gets in early foul trouble. But there's just not a lot of pathways that I can see Purdue winning this ball game. And I hate to say that because I desperately would love to see them win, not only for them to have a similar redemption story as Virginia had, but to also get this Big Ten monkey off our backs, man, because it's been far, far too long without a national championship. So I'm pulling for Purdue. I'm hopeful that they can pull off this upset. But as an analyst that I do every day, I see UConn winning by 10 in this one. I'm anxious to see what you guys have to say on this. Now, let's get to wait a minute. I didn't throw this up. Let me put this up. Give you guys a look. Two of the best college basketball teams all season, right? We talked about that. UConn will be the first back-to-back champion if they win tonight since 2007 Florida. Battle of the bigs, 7'4" Zach Edey versus 7'2" Donovan Klingon. And then the matchup of two of the most efficient teams in the Ken Palm ranking. So it's a great matchup, guys, and the two best teams in college basketball. And so I share with you what I think is going to happen, and I just don't see I don't see a pathway for that to take place. All right. So let's get to the latest portal news, shall we? Let me see if I can run this video really quick. The portal, it's closing! The portal, it's closing! All right. Now let's get into this portal news here. When we look, there's gonna be updates every week, so that I'll be able to come back to you and highlight some of these moves, these portal transfer commits and rumors. And so a lot of you probably heard that Dane Danger signed with Memphis Tigers over the weekend, I believe. So congratulations to Dane Danger on committing to the Memphis Tigers. The Illini Nation will miss you, big fella, but we wish you the best of luck, and hopefully that you continue to improve the way that you did at Illinois, because if you do, Memphis is going to have a high-level post player that they can go to get buckets each and every night. All right, North Dakota State transfer Andrew Morgan has committed to Nebraska. Now, I don't know much about this young man because I didn't see a lot of Summit League basketball this season. South Dakota State has dominated that conference, but North Dakota State has had some players in years past. And so this Andrew Morgan is a 6'10" junior that averaged 13 points and 5 rebounds per game. He's committed to Nebraska. Now, you guys know what Fred Hoiberg and his staff can do with some transfers. Rink Mask, people in the Missouri Valley know how good Rink Mask was, but not many people did in the Big Ten outside of the coaching staffs. And Rink Mask came to Nebraska and had a heck of a season. Was one of the main reasons why they were able to get to the NCAA tournament. Don't overlook this commit here in Andrew Morgan. There's something about this young man in his game that has gotten a commitment from Nebraska. So I'm anxious to see what this young man is going to bring. Now, this is interesting. Corey Booth was at Notre Dame. He put himself in the portal, and he lists Illinois, Michigan, and Texas as potential programs where he might commit to. Now, this is the son of Denver Nuggets GM Calvin Booth, former Penn State player. He's an athletic 6'10 forward. He played in Micah Shrewsbury's system this season at Notre Dame, but now he's in the transfer portal, and Illinois is one of the teams, as is Michigan, two Big Ten teams that are hot on this young man's path for his services. So we'll keep you posted and see what happens with that. Zed Key, the biggest mechanic in college basketball, the 6'9" power forward for Ohio State, enters the portal. I say mechanic because one of his interests is that he can really fix cars, and I believe he has a pet snake. Can't remember what his pet snake is, but he's a man of many. He's a Renaissance man with many interests outside of basketball. So Zed Key, often injured at Ohio State, didn't have the best season this past season, but still a viable low post threat for someone that will pick him up in the portal. Terrence Williams III from Michigan enters the portal. I think the timing may indicate that Terrence was kind of waiting to see who the new coach would be at Michigan and whether he would fit into what this coach's plans are. I would think with the timing that Dusty May has been named the Michigan coach for at least a week now, if not more. I'm confident that Dusty May has talked to the players that had eligibility on Michigan's program, on Michigan's roster, and Terrence Shannon may not have liked what he heard, or may have just not been in the mix for what Dusty May is looking for moving forward. So Terrence Williams III, a talented wing, versatile wing, enters the portal. Mady Sissoko, the big man from Michigan State, enters the transfer portal. It seemed as though his time at Michigan State, every year he seemed to lose a little bit of confidence from the coaching staff to the point where he barely touched the ball, barely got any offensive post-ups, and he really isn't a post-up big. He's a rim running, pick and roll type big, very limited in his offensive skills, but he's a big man that is an excellent rebounder, pretty good defender, physical, can run the floor, and from all reports is a great teammate. So Mady Sissoko from Michigan State enters the transfer portal, and this one was surprising to me. Roddy Gale Jr. of Ohio State enters the portal. Now, he seemed to flourish along with his teammates once Chris Holtmann moved on and Jake Diebler became the interim head coach. I thought he flourished. I thought he was a lot more aggressive. And so with Jake Diebler getting the interim tag removed and him becoming the head coach, it's a little bit of a head scratcher because Bruce Thornton, haven't heard his name in the transfer portal, so I'm thinking that he's coming back. Michi Johnson, you guys might remember him. He was at South Carolina. He's coming back to Ohio State. And Scotty Middleton is transferring out. So I don't know that there was a crowded backcourt because with Middleton leaving, I think Jamison Battle has expired his eligibility. So that's a head scratcher for me that Roddy Gale Jr. enters the portal. Don't know. Maybe Jake Diebler didn't want him back. I'm not sure. But that's a head scratcher right there. So definitely going to keep my eye on that. And so you guys remember that if you want to join the inner circle, that is the tribe of Bardo's Breakdown, text me 312-847-2739. You can also go to bardostribe.com. That's BARDOS tribe.com to get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. You'll be added to the email list, and I'll try to get them out weekly. I don't always get them out weekly, but whenever I do, I try to give some personal insight that I don't give on the show. So make sure you go sign up for that. Okay. Let me get to you guys' questions because it wasn't, there's only one game to talk about. It's the national championship. It's a little short on breakdowns because I don't think there needs to be a ton of talk and breakdown. Yeah, we're not talking Caitlin here. Yeah, you guys are talking to ladies. We're not talking ladies today. So do you think 5-star recruits go? Heck yeah, hoop baller scoop. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they go? They went with Calipari to Memphis when he was coaching Memphis. He was able to attract Marcus Camby to UMass, Lewis Rodham UMass. He got Anthony Davis coming to Kentucky. I don't see why not. He got balls that come to Kentucky here as of late. Reed Shepherd, that dude is a lottery pick. So is Bradshaw. And then Wagner's a projected lottery pick coming out of high school. So Cal got talent. He got talent to come to Kentucky. He's got $5 million in NIL. Why would it be any different? Fayetteville and Lexington, I mean, they might be similar in terms of types of towns. And Arkansas faithful, that's a rabid fan base. There's nothing like Big Blue. Don't get me wrong. Kentucky's probably got the most passionate fan base in the country. If it's not the most passionate, it's right there with whoever you would name, the Jayhawks, the Duke Blue Devils, Indiana Hoosiers, North Carolina Tar Heels, UConn Huskies. Kentucky is above all of them or right there with them. And Arkansas is just a notch underneath. Arkansas's got a great fan base. So I don't see why Cal would not be able to attract talent to Fayetteville, especially with $5 million per year in NIL money to throw around. That's a lot of dough for a basketball program. Yeah, I agree with that. His record in the last his record overall is really, really good, but it's front loaded. Because I think I mentioned earlier in the show, 2 out of the last 3 seasons, they've flamed out in the first round. That you can't do that in Kentucky. That's unheard of. What's up, Curtis Dietz? Curtis, they've had really good success. Musselman's had in 5 years, I believe Musselman's had 8 NBA first rounders. So they've got some they had some talent. They had talent. Anyone can get the Kentucky job because of not winning these last several years. Nope. Not anyone can get the Kentucky job, ladies and gentlemen. You got to hit a home run when you hire Kentucky. Sorry. Kentucky's one of 3 or 4 programs that you cannot miss on those hires. You can't bring in anybody. You got to go get Billy Donovan. You got to go get Nate Oates. I've heard Bruce Pearl at Auburn, his name. Obviously, Coach Hurley, Danny Hurley at UConn's name. But if I'm Hurley, why leave UConn? If he wins again tonight, they're the first back-to-back champions since 2007. You're in the Big East, not the SEC. The SEC is rough, y'all. You got my man Chris Beard at Ole Miss. You got Jans at Mississippi State. You got Nate Oates at Alabama. Bruce Pearl at Auburn. Florida is good. Lamont Paris at South Carolina, tournament team. SEC is rugged. If I'm Danny Hurley, I stay right where I am because you're guaranteed to be upper echelon in the Big East every year if you're UConn. But if you come to Kentucky and you banging your head, I didn't even mention Tennessee. So you got Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi, Auburn, and then Florida. No, that's ACC. I'm missing a team or two, y'all. But the SEC's a gauntlet. So, Texas A&M. Yeah, man. I if I'm Danny Hurley, I'd stay in the Big East. Yeah, we got to pull for Purdue because they're going to need all the support they can get because this UConn squad, they're steamrolling people. I mean, not beating people. And Alabama played well in that first half and were still down 4. They gave their best shot and they were still down 4. Oh, the matchup between Donovan Klingon and Zach Edey ought to be legendary. And I hope both teams just let them play straight up. Hope the officials let them play a little bit so they can be physical, and let's see what happens. But I think people are going to be surprised how agile Klingon looks compared to Edey. He moves a lot quicker. He's quick twitch. It's going to be interesting to see that matchup. Yeah, Tommy, I hear you, my man. It's the nature of the business now. When you get a coach like Brad Underwood, who was already highly thought of around the country, and then you've seen what he's done consistently with his Illinois program, his name is going to come up. His name came up I heard his name come up for the Louisville job. So his name's going to come up, Tommy. I got you. I understand. I'd love to see Brad stay. I want him to stay as a fly in the line member and an Illinois grad, and wanting to see the program continue to elevate. We definitely would want to keep Brad here, but it's the nature of the business. Okay, Thomas Dagley thinks Klingon or Edey will foul out. I hope not, Thomas. Man, I hope they let him play. How crazy is that? Glenn Rice's scoring record still stands. I can look it up later, but what did Rice average in the tournament that year? I don't know, but I held him to his lowest scoring total of the tournament. He only hit me for 29. He hit Virginia for 46. He hit Seton Hall in the championship game for 33 or 35. I can't remember the other rounds, but I remember that. I remember 46 on Virginia, and yours truly I held him to only 29 points. That was his lowest point total. So he was 30 and above in every other game except for the one that we played. No, Curtis, you're exactly right. UConn has not shot the ball well. They're 3 of 15 from 3 against the Illini and blasted the Illini. So they're relentless, and the time that you make a mistake, they hit you. They go. And Alex Caravan is a pro, and nobody really even talks about him, but he's a pro. Yep, like everybody else. Yeah, I know. That's my analyst. I know it's Bardo's breakdown, so I can kind of say what I want to say, but I want to keep my credibility. And I'm a Big Ten homer. I admit it, but I'm not Stevie Wonder though. I can see it. I can see stuff. I can see analytics. I can see. I was in Boston watching UConn play 2 games, and they cover. They're big, ladies and gentlemen. They cover a lot of ground. So, like I said, there's a sliver there for Purdue. I'll say 16 made threes. Fletcher Lawyer has to have 30. Braden Smith probably needs a 20-point, 10 rebound, 10 assist triple-double. And Zach Edey needs 26 and 16 in order for Purdue to be there with a chance to win. That's giving them a chance to win. That's not even saying that if they do all that they'll still win. That's going to give them a chance to win. So this team, guys, UConn is, just what Captain Fletcher says, pit bulls, and they don't let up. Greg, if it's guard play, it's UConn. Smith, Lawyer, and Jones, they just don't match up size, strength, athleticism, or offense. They're across the board. The UConn backcourt has the total advantage, in my opinion. Illinois UNC 2005. I remember they had to have been another time, but I don't. Oh, it was shoot. Hold on. Oh, did I think I threw that in the trash. Hold on, guys. Let me pull up this. I hope I didn't throw that in the trash. So we get a bunch of research, and Harold Shelton, who does the research for the Big Ten Network, does an outstanding job. He's one of the best in the business. And he gave us a packet. Oh, here it is. Ooh, I thought I threw it away. All right. So let me download this. And let me pull this up so I can share this with you guys. All right. So to answer your question, it's not 2005. It is, here we go. Can you guys see that? All right. So the last time number one seeds facing off in a national title game since 2000 was 2021 Gonzaga versus Baylor. Baylor won that one. 2017 North Carolina versus Gonzaga. North Carolina wins that one. 2015 Duke versus Wisconsin. Duke wins that one. 2008 Memphis versus Kansas. You remember Kansas won that one. Mario Chalmers hits the jumper to get to overtime to beat Derrick Rose-led Memphis. Kansas wins the national championship. So the last time the two number ones faced off was 2021 Gonzaga versus Baylor, and Baylor beat them like they stole something. So there you go. I think it is pretty set in terms of buzz that everyone outside of Nico and Sincere will be coming back. Those two are the only likely ones to transfer from what I've heard. Okay, fly, line out, fly. We'll keep an eye on that. Captain Fletcher, in today's game with the portal, you never know where a person is going to be playing with. That's why I love these two teams tonight. It was about a 4-year program. Okay, Captain, I hear you. Did you decide on polos or T-shirts for tribe members? Your logo on the front, then tribe member on the back. Curtis, I like that. I think I'm going to rock with the T-shirts at first because I want to get the logo down, the placement. If you guys got any suggestions, let me know. I'm thinking of having the Bardo's breakdown logo here, and then I put tribe member on the back. I kind of like that. You guys let me know what you think. Bronny James entered the portal. Where's a good fit for him? Because I don't see him being ready for the NBA. Captain, here's what I've heard. LeBron James wants to be the first father-son duo to play at the same time in the NBA. That's the only reason Bronny entered the draft. So they want to see where NBA execs feel like he is right now. And also, his college coach, Andy Enfield, took the SMU job. So I think he entered the portal maybe the same day Eric Musselman took the USC job. So let's see if he comes back to USC, he goes to SMU, or he keeps his name in the draft and the Lakers pick him up. Because that's what this is all about. I think everyone knows that Bronny James is not an NBA player right now. Could he be in the future? Yes. But right now, no. But it doesn't matter because his dad is LeBron James. And that's the play. It's going to be the father-son combination. First one to ever do it in NBA history. And I think that that's what they're gunning for. No chance Brad leaves, right? Fly, Illini fly. Every coach has a number and a place. And if that place comes calling and they meet your number, those coaches leave. There's no loyalty in coaching. The narrative around college basketball fans getting upset that these players move around, they've never been upset when coaches move around. So the coaches don't have any loyalty. So every coach, every single coach in America has that 1, 2, or 3 programs and that number. That if one of those 3 programs calls and they hit your number, they're out. Brad Underwood included. So we'll see. I hope he doesn't leave, but we'll see. I don't know if Kentucky's on his list because you know that Kentucky will match any number that any coach in America wants to see. So, Thomas, thank you very much, man. If this is your first time, welcome to Bardo's Breakdown. Please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, guys. It really helps the growth of the show. And like you, Thomas, I'm glad you found the platform. We'll be doing this once a week through the off season as well. I'll be doing interviews and doing portal news updates and give you guys insight and telling you Big Ten / Flying Illini stories throughout the off season. So make sure you come back Mondays at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern on Bardo's Breakdown. But welcome, Thomas, and thank you. And please like, share, and comment on this on Bardo Media for YouTube. I really, really appreciate it. Chad, I gotta look that up. I didn't see that. That didn't come across. I didn't come across that today. I'll go and check that. You know what, Adam? Thank you very much. I heard the same thing that everyone else heard, that he may apply for a medical red shirt and possibly get a 6-year of eligibility back. I haven't heard anything yet, but when I do, I will certainly let you know. That would be a huge get for the Illini. Not sure if Underwood would want to go with the same style that they did based on the different personnel that they're going to be bringing in. But Marcus is so versatile, he'll fit in to whatever Brad Underwood is trying to do. Okay, Soda P. Kino with Jace Butler reopening his recruitment. Oh, Jace Butler is I think it's Jace Butler is the point guard. That's who you were referring to. Let me look this up. Jace Butler, the combo guard from Point Reyes Station, California. Request release from his commitment to Illinois. Not sure why. Not seeing anything here. But even if Jace Butler was coming in, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's an indication that Marcus Domask will be back, because I think Marcus Domask would be more effective off the ball. He was excellent this year, but I think he could be as effective, if not more effective, if he didn't have the point guard handling duties. I think he'd be even more effective. Chad Alt, we're going to have to load up on Word on transfers we are close on. I did that last show. The guards from Bowling Green, from Toledo, and AJ Store, all Chicago, Rockford area kids that all have Illinois on their radar as destination spots. So I did that last show, and I took that banner down. I wish I didn't take that down, but we'll keep an eye on those 3 guards that we talked about. Ken Smith, I agree. Newton Spencer and also Castle against Lawyer, Smith, and Jones. I don't think they match up well at all. I think those guys are too big and too athletic. They're going to put the Purdue guards in some tough scenarios and situations. I think you'll see Cam Heide play more tonight. I also think you'll see Miles Colvin get a little bit more playing time in the first half tonight against UConn, because they've got bigger bodies and they're more athletic. And I think Matt Painter is going to anticipate having to go to those guys early, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. I really don't. Soda P. Kino, listen, every coach, college or NBA, they have their school or program and they have their price. If Kentucky can come with the right amount of money, and that's a school that Billy Donovan would consider coming back to college for, he would take it. All right. He's done a good job with the Bulls, in my opinion, especially with the limited roster maneuvers that the front office for the Bulls have made. What is that dude's name? Arturas Karnisovas, the Bulls GM, hasn't made a ton of basketball moves to favor the Bulls, and yet Billy Donovan has been able to extract wins, and they find themselves in the play-in situation right now. I think the Bulls are 9th in the East, ahead of Atlanta. So it looks like they're solidly in the play-in situation with no Lonzo Ball, with no Zach LaVine, and yet those guys have been balling. Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White has been had a coming out party this season. And DeRozan's still balling. So we'll see. But Billy Donovan, he's done a really good job with the Bulls. No, there's no doubt the guy can coach. And like I said, if Kentucky can pay him $10 million a year and give him all the NIL money that he ever needs, he might come back to college. You never know. You know what, CD, in NIU, it's a little bit tougher, yes. But once the game gets going, once you get the blood going, if you see one go down, then they'll start to drop. So, yes, it's a little bit more difficult, but it affects both teams. So it's not like one team has an advantage over another. Why have I heard that Coleman also got a chance to come back? Didn't he say he won't? Chance he's back. Coleman's gone. And we'll have to find out about Marcus. Thomas, good question. See, I think what's going to happen is Trey Kaufman-Renn will become the primary post threat for Purdue. The big kid is getting better and better. Another 7-footer, redhead young man. His name escapes me. Hold on. Let me pull up his where is he? Will Berg is 7'2", and he's a freshman, 255 pounds. And they say he's getting better and better. He'll play. You'll see Trey Kaufman-Renn will be the primary post threat. And then Caleb First will, if he doesn't transfer, will come back and probably be the starting power forward. And I'm sure they have some other people in the mix that they will probably bring in. But that would be their front line. Trey Kaufman-Renn, Caleb First will be probably the two guys up front, and you'll see Will Berg come in as well, or Will Berg may start, well, just depending on his development in the offseason. We'll see. But Purdue always has one in the stable there, Thomas. So I think that's what they'll be looking at unless they get an impact transfer in the post position. How much NIL money does Illinois have? Not sure how it all works. Doesn't it complicate things with teammates? Guys, listen. All the things that people talk about. Well, this player is making more than this player. How's that going to affect people? Everybody's job does the same thing. You might be doing the same job as someone else and they're getting paid more than you are. It's the same thing. And so does it complicate things? No. Because was anybody going to say that Terrence Shannon Jr. wasn't the best player on Illinois' team? Of course not. Did he deserve to get the NIL money that he got, which was north of $750,000? Of course he was. So if Terrence Shannon's getting north of $750,000, Marcus Damask was a prized transfer recruit. Coleman Hawkins had to get 6 figures. Justin Harmon got something for coming. Quincy Guerrier got 6. I know Quincy Guerrier got 6 figures for coming. So Illinois' NIL's in the millions. I don't know if it's 5 million like Arkansas is talking about giving John Calipari. I don't know if it's that much, but I'm confident it's in the millions per year. So no, it doesn't complicate things because the best players rise to the top, just like the best people in the workforce or the people who got the best hookups. They get more money. That's just what it is. Curtis Dees, man, good question. Wasn't it Jaleel Okafor and Frank Kaminsky, 2015 Wisconsin versus Duke? Or let me see. Gonzaga versus Baylor. I don't think there were two. What was the kid at Gonzaga that stayed forever in college? Oh, golly. I can't remember his name. And I don't think there was a big at Baylor, but he wasn't featured. Carolina versus Gonzaga 2017. Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know if there's been quite the matchup like this, though, Curtis. Big time matchup with two of the best bigs in college basketball. Thomas Dagley, here. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up. I had a major issue with this. Major issue with this. Who is leaking the negotiations for AJ Storr and his NIL deals? You don't hear anybody's deals talked about publicly. Why is AJ Storr's business out publicly? That bothers the hell out of me. I don't like it because no one else's NIL stuff is public knowledge. Why should his be public knowledge? Because supposedly Kansas offered him something and he wanted more money. And so people were supposed to get upset because he didn't take what Kansas offered him. That's supposed to be behind closed doors. And so if AJ Storr believes, and I don't know if this is true, I don't know if the story is true, Thomas, but I wasn't happy when I heard that. So for those that don't know, according to certain reports, wait a minute, device added to your account. Interesting. According to accounts, Kansas offered AJ Storr $750,000 to come to Kansas. Supposedly, AJ Storr and his people countered with $1 million, and Kansas left him alone. That's the rumor, and again, that doesn't need to be public knowledge. I don't know why that's out, but we'll see. If Terrence Shannon Jr.'s legal issues get expunged, is he a first round pick? Yes, no question about it. There's no doubt. Purdue's going to have to come out fast, and they're going to have to play from the lead. If you get behind UConn, it's cancel Christmas, y'all. Because what happens is when they get a lead, they turn it up. Defensively, they get up in you. They start cutting passes off. They funnel people back to Klingon. He's blocking shots, and they're off to the races. So I'm telling you, Alabama gave you the blueprint to compete against UConn. You've got to hit your threes. You got to keep Zach Edey out of foul trouble. You got to scramble like hell defensively because their offensive sets are so good, and there's no weak links. Like, for example, Alabama was trying to back up off of Stephon Castle, right? They were giving him the three, and Castle gave him 21 points. I believe he hit 3 threes in the first half. He was like 3 of 5 or 3 of 6 from 3 in the game, but I believe he hit 3 threes in the first half. And so the Huskies have no weaknesses. So if Purdue doesn't get out early and play from a lead, and they're playing from behind, it doesn't bode well for them. Michael, the chances, hey, if it's one of the programs that Donovan has circled that he'd be interested in, Kentucky will match the price. That's not it. It's just whether Donovan wants to come back to college or not. Hey, Thomas, after tonight's game, will you have any chat or commentary about what, Thomas? The transfer portal or coaching changes? Yes. I'll be coming back to you all off season. We're not taking time off this off season. Gonna keep the goodness coming. Chad, Brad Underwood has gotten a reputation of one of the best recruiters in college basketball. I'm not concerned with what he's going to replenish the Illini with. He's done a fantastic job the last 2 seasons. I don't see it changing any. They have to be, Danelle. Don't you think? They don't make many Final Fours, but they win a lot of titles. If I'm correct, since 1999, they've got 4. Yes, they've got 4 titles, and it'll be a 5th tonight if they win. Chuck, I'm going to do it every week. I'm just going to update what's going on every week so that we can stay abreast, because it's going to, once the game is over tonight, you're going to start to see a lot more people signing and a lot more people committing to these programs because things are set now. So yeah, I'm going to come back each week and talk about this. Yeah, but Michael, I don't think that Klingon needs to play 40 minutes. He doesn't need to play 40 minutes. There's another young man that comes in behind him that is from the Togo, and he is 6'10". Samson Johnson runs like a gazelle, long, bouncy, and he gets the minutes that Klingon's not in. I think they're going to be fine. I don't think that the minute situation is going to bother UConn. This is what they've done all season. Hey, David, some people think that it may have something to do with Marcus Domask possibly coming back to Illinois. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of rumors jump around. Who knows? Somebody's in his ear. He might have got more money coming from someplace. Who knows? We'll just see how it has to shake off. I don't know if they'll pay AJ Storr $1 million. Again, that's a rumor, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll see. I mean, outside of Terrence Shannon Jr., in the last 2 weeks in the Big Ten tournament, was anybody playing better than maybe Zach Edey and Terrence Shannon Jr.? That's it. AJ Storr was right there with all of them. He got better as the season went along. What's up, Carol Poe Paquette? Thanks for tuning in. Ooh, great question. Sean Stevenson. I don't think I've seen you, Sean. This is your first time at Bardo's Breakdown. Welcome, man. This is a great question. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to answer this for me. Purdue fans, would you take a national championship tonight if Painter took the Kentucky job tomorrow? What a great question. That's getting starred for the day. Thank you, Sean, for that question. Wow. You know what? Matt Painter is thought of as one of the best coaches in college basketball. He flirted with Missouri one time earlier in his Purdue career. Wow. Nobody mentioned Matt Painter either. They mentioned Danny Hurley, but they didn't mention Matt Painter, Sean. That's fascinating. Wow. I want to hear you guys take. To me, I'd take a national championship. Now, it would change their program up, and Matt Painter has built a tremendous program with tremendous culture. But you play the games to win national championships. Purdue hasn't won one yet. I would take a national championship. That's just me. What do you guys think? Great job, Sean. Thank you very much. And please come back and tune in and share with your friends about Bardo's Breakdown. Like, subscribe, and share this video, please. It really helps the growth of Bardo's Media on YouTube. And share with people that you think would like it. We got, what's the young man that said it was his first time on here? Where is he? I'm trying to find his name. Thomas Demps. So, like Thomas, if you guys, it's your first time, welcome to Bardo's Breakdown. Please share with others you think would like this. Yeah, Curtis, it would be quick. If they let 10 days go, I'd be very surprised before they get a coach. Because the portal's open. They've got to get their coach in place. So it's going to happen very, very quickly. Oh wow. My danger t-shirt, my danger zone t-shirt came in the mail same day and now it's transfer. I'm in on Tribe shirt. How many Kentucky players go in the portal now? Go Boilers. What's up, Thomas Brooks? Hey man, that shirt's gonna be a classic though, because Dane Danger is not gonna be forgotten by Illini fans for years to come. Trust me on that. Okay. Ellen Bottenberg says Sincere Harris is back. Thank you for that, Ellen. Appreciate the update. How fun was it for you to play on the Flying Illini teams? You were a tight-knit group, or just that the squad was so talented that you were able to overcome any type of distraction? We were close, but we had cliques. You know, we weren't the best friends, but we respected each other, and we knew that we had something special going on with our team. So it was a great time. It was a great team. You know, just the athleticism and the chemistry that we had on the court, and me being the point guard, and Lou Henson let me do a lot of things on the fly. I made a lot of defensive and offensive calls on the fly, and that allowed us to play with a lot of fluidity. So I wasn't looking over the bench every time. I'm coming up the floor making the call, because I had control of the playbook. I knew exactly what we needed to do, when we needed to do it, who needed to touch the ball. So it was a tremendous amount of enjoyment and fulfillment for me to even think back on that team and some of the experiences that we had. It was some of the best times of my life, no doubt. Okay, Carol's going to be at home in the living room in Edwardsville. I'm going to go to my favorite Monday night spot, Williams Inn Sports Bar, because they're playing house music around happy hour. So I'm going to get me a little bit of house music. I don't think I'm going to watch the game there. I think I'm going to come back home and watch it, Carol. But depending on if the environment's cool, I may stay there and watch it. We'll see. Wow, I'm starting to get these. That's crazy. Okay, Carol, tribe member says, I read Jace Butler isn't going to Illinois because he wasn't guaranteed the playing time he wanted. Also, he saw the players guards at Illini are after. Add Marcus Domas to this if he is granted another year. Yeah, Carol, guys, it's amazing how people out of high school want guarantees. You're guaranteed an opportunity to compete. That's it. And if you shy away from that, that's a good sign that Jace is going away, because you don't want guys that don't want to compete. So I'm sure he's a talented guard. He may pop up at another Big Ten institution. But if you don't come to a place because you're not guaranteed a certain amount of playing time, to me, that says something about who you are as a player. And you may not want that player in a competitive situation. Curtis Dietz, because the city of Chicago doesn't have the same level of population. There's been a population drain from the city of Chicago to places like Atlanta, to Tampa, to Miami, to Backer Road area. High taxation, the political climate, the violence in the city. There's just not as many people, in particular African Americans, are really leaving the city of Chicago. So the talent pool from which the Chicago Public League drew their talent from, it's still talent here in the city, because it's still a big city. I believe it's the fourth largest city now, because I think Houston has overtaken Chicago in population. It's still the fourth largest city in the country, so there's still talent here. It's just not as much as it was before because the population is leaving. There's not a population influx. There's more people leaving Chicago than are moving here. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Chad Alt, since you have been around every school in the Big Ten, from what I have seen, Illinois seems to have amazing facilities for the players. How does it stack up in the league, and does it affect recruits? Great question, Chad. Illinois is right there in terms of facilities. The State Farm Center, since it's been redone, is outstanding. The Ubben basketball facility, since it's being redone, will be state of the art in the country. The players have their training tables where they eat, where they work out, is top notch. The facilities in Illinois are as good as any in the country. And a lot of that has to do with Josh Whitman, the athletic director in Illinois, and his staff are some of the best fundraisers in the country. So as long as Josh Whitman is at the helm of University of Illinois as the athletic director, Illinois' facilities will be among the best in the country because he gets it, he understands it, and he does a great job of raising funds for the Illinois program. So, yes, it is very important to recruits. That's why I was shocked that Eric Musselman took the USC job, because I've heard from certain coaches inside the Big Ten and outside the Big Ten, just coaches around the country, USC's facilities are some of the worst in Power 6 conferences, bar none. Some of the worst. And so Eric Musselman must have gotten tremendous guarantees that the facilities were going to upgrade, that he was going to get NIL money, and that he made at least as much, if not more, than what he was making at Arkansas. Pardon me. So you're going to see these schools like University of Washington, facilities not good. Oregon, I think, has good facilities based on their Phil Knight, Nike backing. UCLA has pretty good facilities. I don't know if they're great, but all of those schools are going to have to upgrade their facilities to compete in the Big Ten. Because if you go to like Nebraska, wow, Pinnacle Bank Arena, their practice facility, are state of the art. Michigan has done a pretty good job of upgrading their basketball facility. Minnesota's basketball facility is really, really nice. It's huge. Penn State is their basketball facility is pretty good. It's adjacent to the Bryce Jordan Center. It's not bad. Who else? Indiana's got really good facilities. Most of the programs in the Big Ten have pretty good facilities. Rutgers has got a brand new practice facility. Theirs is very nice. Who am I missing? Maryland's is good. Maryland could be better, but Maryland's is pretty good. So yeah, it's an arms race. And if you don't have good facilities, believe me, schools use it against you. Jason, thank you. I did. I was in Carbondale with my family this past weekend, ate and drank too much, partied a little bit. We had a good time. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Jeffrey Corduroy. Okay, great question. Would you pay AJ Storr $1 million to play if that's the asking price? Depends on if you need a bona fide scorer. If you're in the Power 6 conference and you need a bucket getter, and there's nobody out there that's comparable to AJ Storr, which I don't think there is, then depending on so here's the thing, Jeffrey, a lot of it depends on what the market bears, who else is in the portal that's similar, that has similar skill set, which I don't think anybody really is. I think he is maybe the most coveted 2-guard wing in the transfer portal. So the need of the programs that are courting him, the need at that position for a bona fide scorer, and what do you have in NIL, and can you pay this chunk to one player and still get the needs met to fulfill your roster needs? Those are all the things that you have to ask if you're willing to pay a player like AJ Storr $1 million. Let me ask you this. If Bill Self had, let's say he could look into the future, and he's sitting here with Hunter Dickinson or AJ Storr, who you think he's going to give $1 million to? Because he gave he gave at least $1 million to Hunter Dickinson last season. And Hunter Dickinson had he had a good year, but it wasn't anything that got Kansas over the top. Kansas didn't win the Big 12 regular season, nor did they win the conference tournament. They were banged up. I get it. He got hurt towards the end of the regular season. I get it. But if you look at AJ Storr's output this season compared to Hunter Dickinson's output, where do you think the $1 million would have gone if he had to make a choice? I think AJ Storr would have gotten it last year. So that's my point in terms of there's a few different variables you have to look at. But I'll be interested to see what happens. Imani, it's funny. And I'm gonna share something with you guys because you all rock with me on Bardo's breakdown. So I like to give you certain things that nobody knows about that took place a few years ago. All right. So I'm at ESPN and I'm calling games, and I made a grave mistake because I was looking for feedback, and the boss at the time that was the coordinating producer at ESPN, he sucked. He did. He just wasn't very good at his job. He was poor at giving feedback. He just wasn't good at his job. And I blasted him on email. I really did. I shouldn't have done it, but I was looking for feedback. And I emailed all of his superiors asking for feedback. And you don't do that you don't do that anyway. But you really don't do that at a place like ESPN because it's so political. So when I sent out that email, I was doomed. And so I was in my last year, and Mark Gross, he was a former Illini. He's an Illini grad. He was high up in ESPN, and he came to me and he said, "Steve, we're not going to resign you." And I said, "All right," and I was hurt, but I appreciated his honesty. And and in my anger, I shared with him. I said, so you're going to give Sean Farnham, a guy who was a walk-on at UCLA, the opportunity to do what I'm doing. And so soon after that, ESPN started a PR campaign to kind of get Sean Farnham out there, to get his name out there, to post stories about him and how hard he's worked and everything. Sean Farnham does an excellent job. I think he's an excellent analyst. I enjoy the games that he calls. He works his tail off. He earned that opportunity. Okay. So I think he's excellent. I like him as a human being. He's a guy of high character. And he works hard, and he's really good on the air. So I like him. I like him a lot. But I just want to give you that insight because he and I are kind of connected because I was kind of going out as he was starting to make his rise. And that's why it always reminds me of that situation. So thank you, Imani. I appreciate that. Jonathan, it could have been a number of different things. Would you have been happy the way Brad Underwood used? If you were Dane Danger, would you have been happy with as efficient as Dane Danger was from the field? Would you been happy with the lack of playing time that he received? I wouldn't have been. And he caused turnovers. Maybe he wasn't great defensively, but he gave you something nobody else gave you: low post, consistent scoring, and putting other bigs in the popcorn popper, putting them in foul trouble. Nobody else on the team could do that. So I mean, I can't blame him. I can't blame Dane. I don't blame any of these players for trying to make the most of their opportunity in a very small window of time. I don't think it will be Illini Fly. And they pushed his date back. I think his date got pushed back to June. Terrence Shannon Jr. trial date. Let's see if it comes up. Okay. The latest that I've seen, and this was published in late February. It could be some updates since then, but it looks like um, a preliminary hearing has been set for May 10th. That may have changed. I thought I saw it. I thought I saw a date in June. Let me see it. Let me see if there's somebody else. May his next court hearing is set for May 10th, but that was back in January. And that's the only thing that I'm seeing right now is that May 10th date. That's the only thing. Yep, here we go. Now this is March 27th. This is the latest that I've seen on this. And they are saying that yeah, that's the latest date that I've seen. I haven't seen any updates contrary to that. So May 10th is the date. I don't know how that's going to work out. Illini fly. I'm not sure. I'm just hopeful that it can all get cleared up. And if it doesn't, he may have to go to the G League. He may have to go overseas. But his work ethic and the way that he came on, I think that he'll find his way to the NBA. I'm hopeful that he can clear the court case and that he is found innocent of all charges. But we'll have to wait and see. Wow. Ron Charles comes with some great questions. Who do you think is the premier coach in college basketball? Danny Hurley right now. He's on the eve of possibly becoming the back-to-back champions, first since 2007. It'd be Danny Hurley for me. I've not heard anything about Fletcher Loyer joining the Illini. That would be very interesting. Interesting. No, I hadn't heard that one. Danny Hurley could certainly win the title and leave for Kentucky. There's no doubt about it. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I wouldn't leave UConn to go to Kentucky. Tougher fan base, tougher conference, way higher, believe it or not, way higher expectations. Way higher. So I wouldn't do it. Danny Hurley can finish his career at UConn. He can get a key to the city. Painter isn't even on the list at Kentucky. You don't know that, CD, NIU. You don't know that. The stuff that we hear in public is not always the best list. I am sure most fans would take the title. I would. Thomas Dagley, national championship, goodbye, Painter. I would. I would take a title at Illinois and then get a coach that I don't like the next season. We all know the guy that I'm thinking about. You talking about Bruce Pearl? I would take a title at Illinois and then get a coach that I don't like the next season. We all know the guy that I'm thinking about. You think about Bruce Pearl, CD, NIU? Thank you, Who's Johnny. I appreciate that, man. That was a hell of a team, buddy. Hell of a team. No doubt about it. Michael Chitty, certainly Mount Rushmore. He's certainly top 3. What he did this season, last season, I think he's certainly top 3. Oh, Carol, great question now. Now, I'm going to give you guys some more insight because you've been rocking with me. If the portal were available when you were with Fighting Illini, would you have managed your college career differently? Lou Henson came at me so bad after a Purdue loss at Purdue, and my dad was there. I came out after getting lambasted by Coach Henson. I told my dad I was transferring. So then my dad went and met with Lou Henson about a couple weeks later, and we got things squared away. But I just wasn't. I loved Illinois. I loved my student experience at the University of Illinois. So I really wasn't, even with Lou and the fact that we didn't get along, we butted heads all the time. It wasn't enough to make me leave. I was upset that night because he blamed me for us losing at Purdue when it was really Nick Anderson that he wanted to get on, but Nick wasn't strong enough to take that kind of criticism. So he blamed it on me because he knew I was tough enough. But with my mom and dad being as involved in my life as they are, my dad wasn't going to let me transfer without getting to the bottom of what he thought the issue was. And so, great question though, Carol. Some of my teammates Kendall would have been gone. After Kendall's sophomore year, he would have left because he really wasn't feeling the situation. He would have been gone. But we're sure glad he stayed. But very good question. Some of us, I don't think the flying Illini would have existed. One or two of us may have been gone by that time. It wasn't hard to sacrifice the scoring when you got guys that I had. It was a great year for me as well. But no, I could score a little bit more than I was asked to. But I was good with it because all I wanted to do was win. I played the game to win. If I scored, that's cool. But if I scored and we won, that's the ultimate. But the ultimate was winning. So it was all good. There was a rumor of Fletcher Loyer joining his buddy Goody at Illinois. I don't know if I see that. I'm sure there's rumors, but I don't know if I see that. Thank you. What's up, Matt? Woo, how many times out of 10 do you think Purdue beats UConn? One time out of 10. And that one could be tonight if Fletcher Loyer gets 30, Braden Smith has a 20-10-10 triple-double, and Zach Edey has at least 26 points, 15 rebounds. They have a chance to win at the end of the game if those three things happen. If they don't, I don't see a way for Purdue to upset UConn. Oh, yeah. We had to practice at Huff all the time. Yeah, we used to practice at Huff Hall all the time. Some of our best practices were at Huff Hall. They were crazy. That was before Huff Hall was renovated. Man, it was old, but it was cool. We liked practicing over there. Ooh, I don't know about best ever. It was a good one. But I remember Blake Hoffauver, he caught a pass, falling out of bounds in the Big Ten tournament, and hit a shot to win a game to advance. That might have been the best one in Big Ten history. Or there could have been another. Well, no. I'll say it was one of the best in Big Ten history. I won't say it was the best. Mackey Arena is awesome. I believe, well, let me look. I thought they could get 15,000. Capacity. 14,240. And it is rocking. It's rocking in that place. It's a great facility. It's a bucket list place. You got to go watch a game there. Bucket list. No, man, I'm telling you, man, Sean Farnham's a good dude and a really good analyst. I really like his work. I really like him as a human, as a man. He's a good dude. Hey, what's up, Travis? When did you know Nick Anderson wasn't coming back for the 90 season? Right after we got beat in the Final Four? Well, I kind of knew before then he wasn't coming back. We kind of knew. We knew he was, his family he had family things that he was trying to take care of and things beyond him. So we knew he wasn't coming back. Yes. Thank you to them for working it out. That's funny. Good one, Carol. Uh, oh wow, Dory, are you serious? Gene Honda is an Illini. I don't think most people knew that. He's an Illini and he's a Chicago native. I know Gene forever. This is gonna be his last one. I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that, Dory. Appreciate you. I hope you've been well. Dory's a tribe member. If you want to join the inner circle that is a tribe, text me 312-847-2739 or go to Bardo's Tribe, BARDOS tribe.com and sign up for the newsletter. You can join the tribe that way. Thank you, Dory. I have no idea. That's a great insight. Thank you for that. Dawn, you know what? I'm not going to give you too much information because these people, the networks, might be listening. I don't want to sabotage myself. I love the break after the season. This season, I didn't do as many games, so I don't feel exhausted. But it's always a good break, and this is my body's biorhythms. I've been doing this since I was 7, 8 years old, and I'm 56 now. Just turned 56 this past Friday. So we're talking 50 years of rhythms where basketball season I'm on, right after basketball season I'm kind of off. That's just my life biorhythm. So yeah, I love the break. I get a chance to travel a little bit, get a chance to do an off-season project or two, get a chance to see my family and do the things I like to do, which is eat healthier, work out harder, help young people get into broadcasting, and call Chicago Sky games. I'm really looking forward to that this year. Teresa Witherspoon is the new head coach of the Chicago Sky, and they have really revamped the roster. So it's going to be a fun season. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But thank you. Sincere Harris plays so hard that he's going to find his way on the court. There's no way to keep him off the floor the way that how hard he plays. He'll be in the regular rotation. Should Lou be in the Naismith Hall of Fame? Of course. I don't know why he's not, Mike, but we need to get him in there. Bo Ryan and Doug Collins made it this year, as they should, but so should Lou Henson. Lou got in the College Hall of Fame, I don't know if I don't think he's in the Naismith, but he definitely needs to be in there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this edition of Bardo's Breakdown. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, if you're on Bardo Media in YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, Bardo Media. It really helps the growth of the show. And share with people that you think might like this content, like Thomas Demps did this evening. He was the first time, and thank you, Thomas, for joining, and please share it. Just trying to make it grow, and then make sure you guys go get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. Cannot believe this is it. The end of college basketball season is here. I'm a little sad. I'm excited about tonight's game. Go Purdue. Everybody in the Big Ten, root for the Purdue Boilermakers. We got to get them over the top. This is going to be a tremendous game. A heck of a team in UConn. There's a sliver of hope. There's always hope. So let's go boiler. I think that's how they say it. Boiler up. All right, y'all. Until next time. Holla, y'all.